Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Women Racing to Win, and good morning to our viewers as well. I see Amber joining us, so definitely very excited to have you watching our program today. And we encourage everyone to subscribe to our show right here on the YouTube Grid Network. Subscribe, like, share with your friends. With me, Daniel Zeri from Racer to Girls Behind the Helmet, and we're going to have Julia later on in the program for Moto E. We're going to start though with Daniel over at British Formula 4 and Abby Pulley weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, everyone, to all our US-based followers. Thank you for always following our weekly reviews of the Women Racing to Win week in and week out. As you said, Joe, it was not as a busy weekend as some of the previous weekends we had, but definitely British Formula 4 with Abby Pulling was back on track for the annual trip to Scotland to the Knockhill racetrack. Abby Pulling is currently racing for her second year in a row in British Formula 4. She's also reserve driver in W Series, where she made her debut in Silverstone earlier this year and scored points at Silverstone. She was P8, so a pretty good result for Abby. And of course, prior to the British Formula 4 second season, she had quite some high hopes coming to her second year in the series. Unfortunately, she had quite some unlucky rounds so far. She was great in testing, and also in Knockhill, she was coming off of a pretty difficult and unlucky weekend of Alton Park. But at Thruxton, again, she was very fast in free practice 1, in free practice 2. She was second, literally thousandths of a second adrift the pace setters in the first sessions. But coming in qualifying, she qualified in 6th place, which was definitely not bad, but she had to serve, unfortunately, a 5-grade penalty for a previous contact in the previous round in Alton Park. So definitely not what you want coming to a new round. So she started 11th. And honestly, she had quite a rough round again in race 1. She's quite an aggressive driver. She had contact at the hairpin. Thruxton is very fast and hilly track and very tricky at the final corner, which is probably the best overtaking spot of the track. She had a contact with another driver, and they went off, and Abby broke her front wing. Unfortunately, she had to pit to change the front wing, but the safety car actually helped her a little bit because she didn't, even though it's a very short track with the lap, it's only 48 seconds long. Still, the JHR developments, the crew did a fantastic job and sent Abby out without losing a lap. So she could again join the pack at the back of the field after the safety car. Made some good overtaking and finished P13. Of course, not what she wants, because of course she is always striving for that podium, for that victory, that elusive victory, because she hasn't won a race yet in British Formula 4, but she has been so close this year and also last year. In race 2, she was starting again from the back. It was a full reverse grid. It's the first time that British Formula 4 this year is testing a full reverse grid from qualifying. She made a lot of positions and finished P8. And the final race of the weekend, she was unfortunately racing with all tires, so that wasn't like the best for strategy. But she made it up to P4. Best result of the weekend for Abby. Second weekend in a row that she finished P4, so not that bad. From now on, she will be targeting top 5 every weekend, which is okay. I think she can do that. She has the pace to do that. Next round will be at Thruxton for another time, because the season opener was also at Thruxton, and she was very fast there. She was close to victory, and only the adverse weather conditions prevented her from taking her first victory. So definitely we are going to follow Abby in the next round of the British Formula 4 as this season reached its midway point.
Definitely, we're going to be following Abby. I know she's getting so close to that first victory and just something we hear about quite often. Getting that first victory, once you get it, it seems then the other victories coming a little farther and faster along the way. So definitely we following Abby. Now, of course, next up we're going to be talking about MotoGP weekend. They had Moto E, but we're very excited that we're going to have with us today on the program to talk about Maria Julia from your website. So definitely very excited to welcome you onto the program.
Thanks for having me. Thank you very much. So this MotoGP weekend is the back weekend after the summer break, which was quite long because of the cancelled race in Finland. But generally, unfortunately, it was the worst Maria Herrera's result so far in this season in Moto E because of the rear brake problem that was found out in the race. Generally, the whole race was very interesting, and the weekend in Austria is always very hard for the riders because of the temperature that is just unpredictable. Just like the weather, because we had the rain only at MotoGP race and then another sun at MotoE race. Even if it was declared wet race, it was a drying track in the 5 laps. So yeah, Maria was starting from P14, so it could be a really good result. She's really experienced in the whole series. She's been there from the beginning. But yeah, unfortunately, this rear brake problem prevented her from a good result. But so far this season, she's been on this point streak all the time since she was finishing the points. And she was quite excited to race in Austria because she enjoyed this track in 2019. Generally, the whole race was just a big show of Lukas Tulovic from Germany, who was starting from P2 but quickly made it into P1 and controlled the whole race the whole time. And also from Maria's teammate Fermin Aldeguer, who's just a 16-year-old rookie, and he got a pole position. But unfortunately, the race went so good for him. He fell into P6 eventually, but then made it into P4, even P3, and was really fighting for the victory on the last lap. And I think it was one of the most exciting last lap in MotoGP this season. Yeah, so it was a very big shame for Maria that she couldn't fight for the points this weekend and be close to the pack because she, after sometimes I was sitting on the grandstands this weekend, I saw her falling all the time behind and braking deeply because she couldn't feel the brake, which is of course not a very comfortable position for the rider that can feel the brake. It must go very fast into the braking point, into the corner. But the whole race was a really big fun for all the fans, and I hope that it makes Moto E even more popular between the MotoGP fans.
Absolutely, and I'm back. Sorry, I had quite an issue with the network. Julia, of course, you were there in Red Ring, beautiful track. What do you think are the Maria's chances to get back to a top 10 in the Misano? Of course, we know that it's going to be a double header to finish to round up the championship.
I think Maria has a great chances to be in a top 10 in Misano. I mean, last year wasn't quite lucky for her. She was just 15 in 2020 at Misano. But in 2019, when we had also a double header at Misano, she was 6th and 5th. So it was a great result for the rookie when everyone's just getting used to the new series. I think she has a big chance, but of course we know that she's been struggling with some injury that she got in the Supersport series, which is part of the Superbike, where she's also riding. We can only hope that this injury won't stop her from anything, and that she will be able to make it into the comeback into the top 10 for the last races of the season, because this double header will conclude the whole season.
As you said, she had quite great results in the previous years in Misano and also in some other races, Maria Herrera. What do you think? This year she was in the top 10 in the opening 2 rounds. Then she has been struggling a little bit more to fight with the pack in the final 2 races, I think. What do you think have been Maria's biggest challenges in this year's Moto E?
This year, I think Maria's biggest challenge was being comfortable on the bike because I think the word that is showing all the time in her words when she's speaking after the races or even after qualifying of e-pole, she's saying that she's trying to be comfortable on the bike, which is not always working. So I think she sometimes is not just comfortable on the bike. She can feel it quite well. Also the braking, she sometimes can feel braking even if she has brakes. There's times. And in Jerez, she had an arm pump just like Fabio Quartararo on the same race. She got an arm pump, so she couldn't quite race good because it was just very painful. She couldn't just control the braking and other things, just like Fabio Quartararo, who was leading the race with a big gap, but then fell to P14, just like Maria. And she had an injury in the Superbike Championship in the other series, so of course it's also very painful.
Definitely very exciting
Absolutely.
weekend for. I was just gonna say, definitely very exciting weekend for Moto E, MotoGP, and definitely, Julia, thank you for being on the program with today's report on Moto E. We're definitely looking forward to having you on the show more in the future. And of course, coming up in the future, we have Le Mans, 24 hours of Le Mans. Daniel, I know we have some big teams there. We'll start off, I guess, LMP2, Richard Mille Racing. What are their chances entering this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday there was qualifying for Richard Mille Racing team. They, of course, they are back for their second season in a row in Le Mans, again with Sophia Flörsch, Tatiana Calderon, and Beitske Visser. They are no more rookies now. Last year they finished 9th, so top 10 in their first year in Le Mans. It was a massive achievement, as we know. It's always a challenge to even finish the race, and to finish the race in the top 10 as a rookie, it's a massive achievement. This year, yesterday there was qualifying. Sophia Flörsch qualified in LMP2 in P23. So a little bit more of a challenging qualifying for Sophia. Now there is the FP3 going underway right now. So we hope that they can make some more progress. But of course, we know that as a 24-hour race, qualifying is not that important as some of the other series probably, because of course the race is so long, so challenging. It's so proving on both a human and mechanical point of view that the most important thing is to finish the race. And if anything can happen, the most important thing is to have a clean race with no technical issues, and to have a good strategy, because even going a little bit longer in your stint and probably having one less stop than your competitors will make a huge difference at the end of the race. So anything can happen. The qualifying, yesterday's qualifying was kind of a benchmark to see how in terms of a one lap pace the teams are standing right now, but anything can happen, and we are definitely going to see more from the Richard Mille Racing team later this weekend.
And definitely when it comes to Richard Mille Racing, I know Tatiana, of course, she's part of the team along with Beitske Visser and Sophia Flörsch. Last year they did this race. Pretty much a good finish considering first time as a brand new team. This year, especially after what we've seen now 2 years essentially racing endurance in Europe, do you see a potential strategy of like which drivers you think is going to be doing some of the more night racing, and which one's going to be doing a longer stint?
That's interesting. Last year, I think Sophia Flörsch and Tatiana Calderon had the most stints during the night. Of course, this year they have a little bit more experience, every one of them. Beitske Visser was entering her first Le Mans with just one endurance race under her belt last year, which was the 6 hour of Spa-Francorchamps. This year, now she has more experience. Of course, they also did together with Sophia. They had the 6 hour of Monza, where Tatiana was not. Where Beitske was not there. Where Tatiana was together with Sophia, because Beitske was racing in W Series. I don't know personally the strategy that they will be doing during the night, but if they stay with like last year, Sophia was really fast. probably the faster on a one lap pace, but Tatiana was really consistent during the night. So this makes a lot of difference in Le Mans. And as they said to us, it's one of the most important things is to navigate through traffic. Last year they were pretty much endurance rookies, all of them. This year they will have a little bit more of experience also in traffic with GT cars around. That plays a big part, and so very, very interesting to see how they will be doing at their second experience at that very important and challenging race.
Yeah, and the nighttime, that is just something where, as you mentioned, if you could be consistent each lap, Tatiana last year, just each all night long, just being consistent, that made a huge difference. And of course, one team that's going there with quite a lot of road racing experience has to be the Iron Links, the Iron Dames. But it's a little bit different from last year, where this year now they're going to have Sarah Bovey on the team. With Sarah Bovey, the addition this year to Le Mans, do you think you're going to see a little bit more of her being the sort of new to this team, having a little bit of a small role, or do you think with the experience of this team, she's going to be just right there as if not even feeling like a rookie?
That's interesting as well, because Sarah Bovey made her WEC debut in Monza just 1 month ago. She was actually scheduled to do the Michelin Le Mans Cup together with 17-year-old Dorian Penn. But she was promoted to the big team, to WEC, together with Michelle Gatting and Rahel Frey. Rahel, of course, she is very, very experienced. She had their first Le Mans in 2010, I think, also in another all-female crew with Natasha Garnag and Cindy Alleman, actually. Rahel, so she is quite experienced. Michelle Gatting, she had her first Le Mans 2 years ago, so it's her third experience in the 24-hour race. But of course, as you said, they kind of have some data from this race before they finished P9 in both the editions. They will try to also to climb more up the order. They were 17 yesterday. Rahel did the qualifying session. They were P17. Also, they can do a little bit better, but it's not a bad start from them. Also, as I said before, the most important thing is to have a clean race with no technical issue. And this time, I think Iron Links really has the team to pull that off. They are doing great in many GT championships with a lot of cars and a lot of also very strong lineups. So it's one of the really benchmark teams in Ferrari equipment as well. So I think there's good chances that they can have a clean race and strive for another top 10. But to answer your question about Sarah Bovey, I think she did great in Monza. Her first race in WEC, she did qualifying straight away. Did great. Qualified P7 and did very, very solid first stint. So I think she's a rookie. Yes, she never did Le Mans 24-hour, but she raced in the 24-hour of Spa-Francorchamps. She had quite a lot of experience in that race, which also is her home race. So I think that Sarah Bovey can be one of the surprises of this race.
That's amazing. And of course, as you mentioned, that experience doing Spa-Francorchamps 24 hours, that is just pretty much another intense track, 24 hours. And I see we do have a question from the chat room. It comes from Amber. Does the sunrise and sunset make it hard for the drivers? And that's a pretty good question. I know in NASCAR, IndyCar, they usually have tinted visors. When it comes to endurance races, is it something similar, or how does that work with the sunrise and the sunset especially?
Yes, it doesn't make it hard a little bit for the drivers, and from one stint to the other, they do change the visors tint. So of course, during the night they run with the transparent visor. Of course, with being closed cockpit cars, they can run with the open visor. So it does not make such a big difference like in single seaters, for example. But yes, they do change the visors, and it does make a difference running through the night or during sunrise. because of course the Le Mans also there's this mega which is very beautiful on a photographic point of view because of course there's the low sun and the low the long shades. It's really interesting also from on an imagery point of view. It's really cool, but of course it does make a difference for drivers, especially when you're running in traffic, when you have to be so aware of the traffic around you, when you have 4 different classes, you really have to pay attention to the cars around you, and also light conditions does make a difference, definitely.
The light conditions, and then of course with that traffic as well, the brake lights, if you're coming up on somebody and just don't see it, it could be disastrous. So definitely very challenging. And of course the Le Mans 24 hours, just one of many races this upcoming weekend. I know we have a lot of racing where this past weekend it was a little lighter on the schedule, but now this weekend we got a lot. Dan, can you tell us about some of the races coming up this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, the 24-hour of Le Mans must be the highlight of this weekend. There will also be the Michelin Le Mans Cup at the French venue, where also Iron Lynx will be racing there. They will be racing with Manuela Gosner, that of course was scheduled to do the big race, and she did the previous two editions, but now she will be doing together with Dorian Penn the Michelin Le Mans Cup. And earlier today they had qualifying, and they will be starting from P4 in the GT3 class. So definitely they have the chance to get on the podium, which is great. Also, we will have at the Hungaroring, we will have the WTCR, so the World TCR Cup with Jessica Bachmann racing there. Also DTM at the Nürburgring, where only Esme Hockey will be racing, of course, because Sophia Flörsch is in Le Mans racing in the LMP2 class. Also the the DTM trophy at Nürburgring with 3 female drivers. But also we will have the BMW M2 Cup, new series. That it's only the 3rd race of this series. Usually there are 5 female drivers entering this category. Well, this weekend we will only have 4 because Carrie Schreiner announced earlier today that she will not be at the Nürburgring, unfortunately, because she's not feeling great. She has a kidney problem, so we definitely hope that she will heal fast. Also, we have TCR Denmark at Ginlandsringen in Denmark, also racing together with the Danish Formula 4. Danish Formula 4 is back on track after quite a long gap. Then we will have the STCC, the Scandinavian Touring Car Championship at Karlskoga in Sweden. Also, NASCAR Track is back on track for the first round of the after the regular season. And the ARCA and ARCA West series are racing at Irwindale with quite a lot of female drivers as well. And NASCAR Mexico is racing at Super Ovalo Potosino, and we'll be trying to follow as many series as possible.
And of course, definitely for everyone that wants to follow all the series as much as possible, definitely encourage you to visit the website Racers Behind the Helmet. Essentially, right there, racersbehindthehelmet.com. There you can see all the reports, including Julia's report from Moto E, preview of the 24 hours of Le Mans, British Formula 4, and all the racing going on and upcoming. So definitely encourage everyone to visit the website. Be sure to follow Racers Behind the Helmet on Twitter and Instagram. And definitely want to thank everyone for watching today. Be sure to like and subscribe right here to the Grid Network. We'll be back next week. And of course, Saturday, Sunday, Grid Live pre-race and wrap-up. We'll be wrapping up all the weekend action, particularly NASCAR, IndyCar sharing the weekend with the NASCAR Truck Series and the 24 hours of Le Mans. For Daniels at Racers, the girls behind the helmet, I'm Joe Samaniego. Thank you for watching today's program. We'll see you next time.
Don't be an anonymous investor. Join the stock market social media platform, public.com. Invest any amount of money and share with friends and new friends. Discover new opportunities, such as new companies and potential business partners, and useful tools for beginners, and share your experience with friends. on public.com. Link in the video description gets you $5 for being a Grid Network viewer. Use the referral code GridNet for your free $5 to invest and start investing and networking on public.com.